What's up, family? It's Rational Lunatic, and we're back. Today's story, man. We've got a VA social worker who has been arrested for buying drugs from patients. Yeah, you heard it correctly. A VA worker buying drugs from patients. With that being said, before we get started, kick that like button, punch that subscribe button, flick that ding notification bell so you can set the date on all my latest content. And trust me, we got some more wild stories coming up real soon. So stay tuned for sure. But with that being said, catch me on TikTok, YouTube, Patreon for my Not Safe for Life news content. If you want to reach out, you can reach me on any of those platforms as well as TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit. Yeah. So, with all that, let's get into this one, shall we? This report was done by Fox 5 Atlanta. An Atlanta VA worker has been accused of drug deals with patients and quits his job. A social worker at the Atlanta VA was caught on video allegedly buying methadone from patients is off the federal payroll while DeKalb County prosecutors continue reviewing the evidence against him. A VA spokeswoman confirmed Philip Fritz resigned while under investigation, effective August 13th. That's 1 week after the Fox 5 I-Team aired clips of cell phone videos showing him in his office allegedly discussing price with a patient, handling methadone bottles, and putting some away behind his desk and peeling off labels. The Atlanta Veterans Administration Medical Center said in a statement that Fritz's departure ends an internal investigation that lasted more than 2 years. It took them 2 years to investigate this dude to find out he was like how many drug deals do they have to do with this dude to bust him? 2 years worth of drug deals? I mean, what else would an investigation entail? I mean, if you know more about it than I do, let me know. Why would it take 2 years, man? But anyway, let's just continue. More than 2 years. The social worker kept his job throughout, but in a different position where he didn't see patients. So then how is he still doing business? What, they just moved him and it took him 2 years to go through all the backlogs and figure out just how much methadone he was buying? Quote, the employee resigned last week prior to the conclusion of the internal VA investigation, which could have resulted in administrative action to include termination, the statement sent by a spokeswoman said. Meanwhile, the DeKalb County District Attorney's Office told the I-Team it has obtained the case file from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, whose Office of Inspector General looked into veterans' accusations against Fritz, but hit a dead end after federal prosecutors passed on the case, according to a previous VA statement. The DeKalb DA's office has acknowledged the same legal issues that may have tainted the original investigation, saying prosecution may not be possible, but the office will still take a hard look into the case. A DeKalb spokeswoman declined to elaborate on those potential legal issues. So he may not even get in trouble. He just got caught and quit before he got fired. Quote, because this is an active and open investigation, our office cannot comment any further, the spokeswoman said by email. The I-Team reached out to Fritz about his resignation by phone and email, but he did not respond. Oh, surprise, surprise. I wonder why he didn't respond. He declined to answer questions when a reporter tried to talk to him in July. Quote, the allegations are false. Whatever you're talking about, Fritz said just before entering his vehicle and driving away. The I team previously reported how at least three veterans coping with addiction blew the whistle on Fritz in March of 2022. At the time, he was their drug rehabilitation counselor, and they accused him of spending thousands of dollars over the course of a year purchasing their methadone, a narcotic prescribed to help addicts kick hard drugs such as heroin and fentanyl by alleviating withdrawal symptoms. So basically, they were selling their methadone to this dude for a good, probably a decent price, and going out there and getting what they, were really wanting to do. And which, man, I don't agree with methadone. Coming from an addict, I think Suboxone's the way to go, only because Suboxone, unless you take enough, like, you don't get high like that. And even if you take enough, you get tired, but you don't get that same rush. You don't get that kind of high. Methadone gives you, if you do enough of it, will give you that high. And the thing about methadone is you can overdose on it, plus you can still do your hard drugs. The thing about Suboxone is it blocks the opiate, so you can't get high. So if you do Suboxone, you go out there and try to do opiates, they're not going to work for you. They're not going to do a damn thing for at least about 24 hours until either you do enough opiates. You have to do a lot of opiates to counteract to surpass the Suboxone, or you have to wait at least 24 hours. So if you, as long as you take your Suboxone every day, you really can't get high, or you're gonna have to spend a lot of money trying to do like an 8 ball of dope just to get lit. You know what I mean? So I really do think Suboxone's a better way to go. Plus, it helps with your mood. Like when you're just not feeling good, like your mental's just, you're aggravated. Once the Suboxone kicks in, you do just feel like it's like a stress reliever. You don't feel high at all. You just feel like like normal again. You feel like the world's, right again, and you can function, and like you can work on it, and like it makes life, it makes life possible again. So if you're struggling with addiction and you're wondering which route to go, don't go methadone, man. Just don't do it, because I've had friends on methadone. They still have the same cravings. They still go and do, opiates on top of the methadone. So it's pointless. You know what I mean? Because if you're really not ready to quit, you're really gonna have a hard time. And methadone's not gonna help with that. But with the Suboxone, even if you're like you want to, but you're just, your brain's trying to fight you, at least it'll block it. So if you do slip up, you know what I mean, you won't get it. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, I think Suboxone's the way to go. But anyway, let's continue. Methadone, though itself, excuse me, methadone, though, is itself a synthetic opioid which can be abused, can be addictive, it's very addictive, and is illegal to buy or sell on the black market. A UGA pharmacological, or excuse me, a UGA pharmacology and toxology expert told the I team. The other thing about methadone, so I've been to rehab, like, inpatient for a few days to go through detox basically. Um, and I met dudes there that were kicking methadone that had been there for a month. Like regular opiates takes you 3 to 5 days to come off of it. You'll still have dreams about doing it, making purchases, and then having, like, you know what I mean, having it ready to go and ready to do. Um, but as far as the hard withdrawal, the that sickness that everybody tries to avoid, and does whatever they can to avoid, that goes away in a few days. But methadone, these guys were in there for like, the last two told me he was just over a month, and he said he was still having like restless legs, and he was still in a lot of pain and still having problems. And I couldn't fathom that. You know what I mean? So methadone, just like any treatment program, is a long term treatment. But to come off that, it's so much harder on your body. Suboxone, there is a withdrawal from it, but it's nowhere near, and it's a lot easier to start winging yourself down, um, and then getting off of it. And I am speaking from experience. I've done methadone, but I did it for fun. I didn't do it long term. I did it for a few days, but that's back when I was partying with other things anyway, so it was whatever. Um, so yeah, it's all around a bad way to go. It's not the way to go. I don't think. I know it's helped some people, but I think Suboxone's been much more of a savior to addicts than methadone has. Two of the veterans who reported Fritz even handed over cell phone videos showing alleged transactions taking place on federal property in Fritz's office, which was part of the medical center's opioid treatment clinic. Army veteran Antonio Bradley, who struggles with cocaine and opioid abuse, claimed in a federal court complaint that Fritz manipulated him. Quote, "Inside, I knew that what I was doing was wrong," Bradley told the I-Team. Quote, "For my recovery, I knew it was wrong, but it's hard to get out of stuff like that when you're deep into it. It so is. It's so hard." Bradley and another vet who did not wish to be named in this story said they talked amongst themselves about what their counselor was doing, then decided to put a stop to it. Worried they wouldn't be believed, they said they secretly recorded the interactions in his office. I mean, you have patient counselor confidentiality, right? But is there such thing as counselor patient confidentiality? Is that why they're having a problem prosecuting? Because they also secretly recorded him and they're not law enforcement? It's a good question, I think. "I knew I needed to have physical proof," Bradley said. The two men also gave VA investigators screenshots of Cash App receipts showing thousands of dollars paid to them by Fritz. Bradley told the I-Team that from 2020 to 2022, he believes Fritz paid him a total somewhere in the range of 16,000 to 17,000 for his methadone bottles. That's a lot of money. That's, man, because I know people, we used to sell our Suboxone, or like my buddy sold his methadone when we were still partying. Man, but that's a lot of money over a year too. Like on top of what you're already making for your VA benefits, or if you're on like a disability or whatever, you're not making that much. But if you're making 16, 17,000 a year on top of it, I mean, you're still making 30, 40,000 a year. That's not too bad. But I mean, it's not the right thing to do. It's illegal. But I don't know. I have the wrong way of thinking. Don't listen to me when I start ranting like that. Bradley and a different veteran filed a complaint against Fritz in U.S. District Court last year, citing unethical coercion and psychological manipulation of the clients in his care. They might have a lawsuit on their hands if they're trying to get clean and he's buying their methadone, which is basically giving them money to go get whatever else. They can pretty much, they might have a lawsuit saying, he hindered our rehabilitation, and for that, we just stayed on this stuff longer, and it ruined our lives even longer. I wonder if you could have a civil lawsuit against him, or at least against him, but even possibly against the clinic. Quote, "Instead of helping us to abstain from the use of illicit street drugs, we were encouraged to sell him our medication and told that it was okay to use illicit street drugs because more than likely we were going to use the drugs anyway." The complaint, which they filed in their own, without an attorney said, or said, I said that like it's going to keep going. No, that's what the complaint said. On a motion from the U.S. Attorney's Office, a federal judge dismissed the lawsuit, not on the merits, but because allegedly buying methadone would be outside the scope of Fritz's job duties for the VA, and because the federal government has sovereign immunity from civil claims according to the judge's order. So because he worked for the federal government, they have immunity to civil claims. So he has immunity under the the act of the federal acting under the fact that he's acting under the federal government. Fritz remains a licensed clinical social worker through the Georgia Board of Professional Counselors, Social Workers, and Marriage and Family Therapists. That's crazy. The state board has not yet responded to questions from the I-Team about the veterans' allegations, and the board's website shows no disciplinary measures or board actions concerning Fritz's license. The licensing board confirmed on Thursday. Oh, this is an update. The licensing board confirmed on Thursday that Fritz is now under investigation by the state. The Georgia Board of Professional Counselors, Social Workers, and Marriage and Family Therapists received a complaint related to the same allegations at the Atlanta VA and has an open case. A spokesman for the Georgia Secretary of State said. So now the board's investigating him, and he'll probably lose that license. That's crazy, man. I don't know. What do y'all think? Y'all think he should lose his license? I mean, obviously, it's an obvious answer, right? Like, no, duh. But what kind of punishment y'all think he should get for that? You know what I mean? Like y'all think he should get jail time, prison time? Should he get like sued, have to pay restitution, or pay these, the people that he was buying methadone from and hindering their rehabilitation? You think he should have to pay them up and still go to jail, or what? What do you think this guy should have to? What do you think his what's it called, punishment should be? You know what I mean? His retribution. What do you think it should be? Let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. But hey, if you made it till the end with me. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do hope everyone is doing okay. I know times can be tough, especially around this time of the year. So keep your head up. You know what I mean? You're not the only one going through it. We all are. At least people like you and me are. And yeah, keep your head up. Keep going. Stay tuned. If you haven't done it yet, hit that like and subscribe button. And until the next time, as we always say, stay healthy, stay free, and stay wild, y'all. See you soon.